love your...
I don't really.
Holidays good? What, Mbop? I have Mbop on my phone. I've paid for Mbop. Again, that's like 90s. What's your guilty pleasure song? You have a guilty pleasure song?
Well, I have like a whole guilty pleasure playlist, but if I had to pick one, probably Africa by Toto.
We need keys for that, don't we?
What about Rosanna by Toto?
Yes, that's my second favorite.
So that's 80s and 90s, and I got voted out for having 80s and 90s guilty pleasures.
Does it count if the guilty pleasure is a strict result of your kid?
Yes.
Okay, so JJ likes to get fired up on her way to school, and she makes me like turn it all the way up for that song, Fight Song. Rachel, like, Platten. Is that it?
That's a good song. There's some great chords.
Yeah, it's not something I'm gonna. But here's the problem: is that I'll play it when she's not in the car. Be like, take my back down, take my back, and I'll be at a red light, and I'll just look over and be like some cool guy that's sitting around like,
You got it all wrong, because you have tinted windows, so you need to go, this is my daughter likes it. Point to the back seat. Let me think about that.
I don't know, that's one for now, but I'm sure that'll change in, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll be singing some other person's song that I've never heard of before.
Emily, too, in honor of your vote, I'm going to go with Toto Africa for now, but I'll think of something. I promise. Hi.
Hi, my name's Kristen, huge fan. My question for both of you guys is, after the show is over, what do you guys want to do?
Get her.
What do you guys want to do with your acting careers? Do you want to continue doing TV? Do you guys want to do movies? Do you have anything in your mind you might have lined up? FYI, DC's looking for a Batman and a Superman.
I thought they had a Batman. Did he leave? Dumbass. Yeah, I'll throw that cowl on. No,
I buy that movie ticket.
I don't know. That's something that I think you'll probably have to ask us when and if this show does start to wind down.
Also this, I hope this cat continues to act, and I'll happily buy a ticket for me and my family to go watch. I would like to back what? I'd like to get, here's my dream life. Where I sit now, that's not a word of a lie. Things change. But I would love to basically, stop acting, and hopefully if my buddy calls, one of my favorite jobs I ever had, and this is so stupid, well, it's just so weird because I went uncredited for it, but I got a phone call from a director, and his name is Sean, and he's like, hey dude, Tom doesn't want the bully at school to be shorter than he is. You mind coming in for a couple days? Sure. I made, $100 a day or $100 a week or something like that, like the absolute minimum, and it was for cheap by the dozen. It was just cool, yeah. But it was just like, sure. I was living in LA at the time. They were shooting in downtown LA at some school, I believe, Pasadena or something. And so, I would love, that's one of the reasons I love these conventions, is because I both get to see people that I worked with years and years ago, and see people that I've traveled the world with and been to Rome, like all over the place. And it's like catching up with friends. Like I feel like if anybody could design a perfect life, if you were a millionaire and you weren't one of these kind of Elon Musk people who just had to be working all the time, it's like my favorite thing to do in the world would be like reunions with my buddies once a week. And see everybody. I mean that, bottom of my heart. So I feel like my dream job would be to not have a regular job, but to get a phone call or an email from a friend like, hey dude, we need somebody with a big forehead to come play this part. And I pick up the phone and be like, cool, let me check with the family, and I hope to see you there. So that's fingers crossed.
Forehead's beautiful.
Thank you, it's a 5-head, so thank you. As is yours. Hi.
Hi, my name is Brian. I came from Puerto Rico, but I have a question for the two of you. So I was wondering, what's the best horror film the two of you have ever seen? And what is the worst fear that's emanated from that film?
The best horror. So Ryan from Puerto Rico is basically saying, what's the best horror film we've ever seen, and the best fear that's sort of been spawned from that movie. I think if I went to a hotel that seemed abandoned, like in The Shining, I think I would probably put my family back in the car and drive away. He turned me on to a movie, The Strangers. It's good. And so, what?
House of Wax. I won't go to a wax museum anymore.
My favorite horror movie, legitimately though, is New York Minute. So I don't go to New York a lot.
I will say, since you brought it up, The Strangers is one of my favorite scary movies, and it has left an impression on me, so much so that a lot of times I find myself at night when I'm at home. I have a good-sized front yard, and it has lights in the trees that have pools of light in the yard. When I walk by the front windows, I'll look out there and it'll just be darkness with like these kind of pools of light, and almost 100% of the time, I expect to see somebody standing there. And it is because of that movie. And obviously they're wearing like a happy mask, but they're just standing there like this in the pool of light. That would send me into a frenzy. And by that I mean that would send me to my gun safe.
I tell you something, the same thing. So our property has cameras all over the place. And one of the camera systems sends alerts. So every now and again, I'll be home in Austin, and it'll be, like midnight 30, and I'll get bling, motion of sense in front yard. And I'm like, do I want to look? Because oftentimes it's just the light changes slightly, or the neighbor drives his car,
Or lightning,
a bug next to the camera system. And I'm like, I'll make sure the doors. Genevieve makes me walk around all the doors and windows before going to bed to make sure they're closed and locked. Probably because of that movie.
I'll leave you with this. Not a word of a lie. The other day, this was maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was in my living room, and I was watching the late night football game. Everybody else had gone to bed, and I kind of you can see my front porch from, if you're sitting on the couch, out the windows. And I looked out there, and the porch lights were on. You can see the porch, but then it kind of just disappeared into the darkness. Which then you get out into the yards and you get the pools of light. But just in that pool, that light that was the front porch. And this is another movie that's played on this fear that originated from Strangers, is The Purge. And I sat there and I instantly envisioned several people in masks walking into the light. And now this means that they're on my property. B, they probably aren't here to, hand out Girl Scout cookies. And 3, this was my greatest fear, is which way do I go first? Do I go to my closet to get something to protect myself and my family, or do I go to my children's rooms? And I sat there and I started like sweating, thinking about this, like, what would I do in that moment? Would I go to protect my children, barehanded, or would I go this way and hope that they don't beat me back to them? That was a real fear I had. And it struck me, and then I was like, well, I'm turning this off and going to bed, because I can't enjoy this game anymore. And those were fears that were born out of movies like that. So, yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
Well, there's this movie on Netflix called Before I Wake, and in that film, there's this creepy, like, I don't know how to describe an entity, let's just say that, created by the boy, and it was called the Canker Man, supposedly. It was horrible to look at, it was scary. And so every time I went by the mirror, I imagined it like standing behind me. So.
Well, you know what that means? That is good, effective filmmaking. That's what that is.
I'm not gonna, I mean, I don't wanna, so, I know where you live, and there's no Canker Man behind the mirror. He's under your bed. Just kidding, thanks so much.
Good job. Good job.
Hi, my name is Dana, and I wanted to say you both are absolutely brilliant, and especially Jared with your way of non-verbal.
Actually, I didn't do that well in the SATs, I gotta be honest.
Especially Jared with your non-verbal way of showing Sam's trauma whenever he was around Lucifer. So how exactly did that come about? You with your input, and Mr. Jensen, how is Dean's emotional reaction going to be when he's no longer Michael?
I think, on behalf of both of us, the Lucifer thing started out as an accident. Honestly, when the whole Lucifer saga started 10 years ago, in case y'all want to feel old, it was written in because it was legit fear. And I think, you know, I get down the Wikipedia rabbit hole and the Google rabbit hole trying to figure out what victims of PTSD or trauma can experience. And oftentimes, if not dealt with, most times, I guess, when not dealt with, it's a consistent, irrational fear and reactions. Even when Lucifer lost his power, or I was saved, I wanted to make sure to give credence to the idea that Sam still, he had this bit of like being around his tormentor, being around his attacker. And so that it became something that the writers trusted. They didn't need to write into the stage direction. They knew that I'm very protective of my buddy Sam, and he's very protective of his buddy Dean. And so I just kind of tried to work that in as much as possible. And there were even lines that I would call the writers and the producers and be like, hey, this kind of indicates Sam being frivolous with Lucifer, and it works better for Dean. And Jensen would be like, absolutely, because he has the kind of wry gallows humor. So yeah, it's a, before you'll see Supernatural, a lot of work has gone into it. A lot of work has gone into us trying to figure out every second, you know?
I think you'll see, as far as the Michael thing, when Dean becomes Dean again, as we know he will. I don't think that's a spoiler alert. In true Dean fashion, he is greatly affected by that experience, but he pushes it down and puts on a brave face and doesn't want to talk about it, which only means that it's going to rear its ugly head later in the season, and we'll see how that works. I have not read, we haven't gotten that far yet, but that's what I understand is going to happen.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Say hi to Jensen too. Hi.
Hi.
So you are our last question. So
You're freaking out.
I don't think you've ever been.
I have never been to a convention before.
Well, it's never like this. It's usually about a third of this crowd. So I'm just kidding. It's always like this.
I'm sorry. She wants you to sit away.
I'm not nervous because of the crowd. I'm nervous because of you guys.
So.
You just need so much time.
So
What's your question?
My question was why you decided to pursue acting in the first place.
Interesting. That's a great question, Sarah. Thank you.
Jared, you want to take that one?
I'll start. So I always thought it was interesting. I was always kind of motivated and inspired by movies and the ability to tell stories. I was never great at telling stories in person. I certainly like to play around and move around, but I was always fascinated by storytellers, people who could hold a crowd, tell. I enjoy reading and I enjoy art and this and that, but I just feel like I lost myself. And I would actually kind of alter it a little bit to say that at some point, I didn't any longer pursue acting. Acting sort of pursued me. And this wasn't because I got a job, this was in middle school, where, I remember going to high school, and I was not a big person in high school. I'm a big person now, big person in the real world. But I think when I got to high school, we got to the point where we'd have football practice and basketball practice and drama, and I'd have to choose one or the other. And I couldn't escape the idea of doing plays and reading scripts and the camaraderie that comes with telling a story together. So I always dreamt of the idea that you don't have to be on TV or in movies to be an actor. You can act at school, you can act into the video camera at home.